All right. How are y'all doing out there in Falcon Fever Land today? We had an absolutely fantastic game today. The Falcons come out on top 24-12 over Jacksonville Jaguars. Falcons go to 6-9, believe it or not. Jaguars fall to 5-11. How y'all doing? This is Steve here on many platforms who has started off in Steve's Sports Talk in the ATL on Facebook. Also, Steve Sports Talk in the ATL on YouTube as well. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, and you'll get the archives of all these episodes coming up. And, of course, my friends in the Atlanta Bird game, can't do it without you all. How are you all doing today? Big win for the Falcons. I don't know. Listen, I know what the talk is. I'm not crazy. I know exactly what everyone's going to say. Why now? And I'm in line with the same thing. Why now? But you know what? We won 3 in a row. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again until everyone gets it in their skull that winning trumps losing every time. Every time. So, y'all say what y'all want to say. Timothy, how you doing, sir? Mike, how you doing? Brother Marcus, what's going on? I was checking you out a little bit early on the way back in. My son that turned me on to check you out. I don't know. It's hard to listen. For those 3 hours again, you forget records, you forget the outside noise, coaches, who the new coaches, what are the draft picks or whatever. Once those guys get on the field, it's about trying to see if we're going to win a game. And today they came out and acted like they wanted to win a game. The last few times it's been the same thing. The Falcons' effort in these last 3 games has been very good. Think about if this effort had come in September or October. And it's hard not to look back and say, what if? It's hard. Do y'all realize we are 5-2 since the bye? We've lost 2 games since the bye. New Orleans and Tampa. That's it. We've won every other game since the bye. And whether y'all realize it or not, if we win again, guess where we're going to be? Same thing. 7-9 in second place with absolutely nothing to show for it. I don't want to sit here and be totally downer. I am going to talk about this game. It's a really good game. Some historical significance as far as the Falcons is concerned and as far as the NFL is concerned in this game. Just saying hey to everybody coming in. Damien, what's going on, my brother? Rise up. Jimmy Wayne. Now talk is how we can get rid of Matt and Julio. They still produce. Timothy says we trending up. I don't see a change in the coaching staff right after today's game. Jermaine, wish 4 of our losses could have been wins, like the games against the Cardinals, Titans, Colts, Seahawks. Those are the exact same games I always point out, Jermaine. just for the record. Anytime I talk about people, I say that. Brother Perry, how are you, sir? Good to see you, man. So today, let's specifically get on today. We're going to talk about it. Kim Folk, what's going on, buddy? How about them Dirty Birds today? How about them? Let's just start from the beginning, man. I noticed there has been a change of philosophy, even starting with the coin toss. The year of the Super Bowl, remember, we didn't do a lot of deferring the year of the Super Bowl. The year we went to the Super Bowl, when we got the coin toss, we took the ball. We took the ball and we marched right down and we scored. As a matter of fact, I think it was like 6 or 7 games in a row. So maybe they were feeling like over the last couple of weeks, they feel like they need to get this offense started and get on the field. And it only took 5 or 6 plays. The execution, magnificent. Devonta Freeman running like Devonta of 2 or 3 years ago. Even just had a little more burst today. It could have been a little bit of footsteps coming behind him because Brian Hill had a very good showing today and a couple of times that he carried the ball. Now, could some of that have been a hapless Jaguar defense? Maybe. But at the end of the day, a good run game will always balance out for your pass game. Was Matt 100% accurate today? Not really. But again, the running game at least gave him that extra second or two to do what he needed to do in the passing game. He left a couple of passes out there. Of course, comes to mind the long pass to Julio where Matt didn't look off that safety good enough. And that's something as a quarterback of his ilk he should be able to do. Look off that safety so it could truly be a one-on-one possession. And that kind of bothered me when they do that. What's up, brother Glover? How you doing? DQ and TD ain't getting fired. You know, that boy, oh boy. And I know we've been having this conversation for the last couple of weeks. And I stand in my same, I'm going to stand on what I said because I don't want to seem wishy-washy, but I still think that just because you mirror last season's results, as far as bringing it home in the end when it doesn't matter, to me, that doesn't validate keeping you as a head coach. What it does validate is you should have been doing a lot of this earlier. That's what that validates to me. I know everyone is, they're going to keep them. They're going to keep them. I don't know. I still think there's still a plan behind the scenes to say, you know what? Thanks, but look too little too late. Let me catch up with folks. Twan, what's going on, my brother? Hey, man, good to have you in again, man. We just getting started, so bear with me. Leland, how you feeling? We can play with the best of them. I don't know what's going on in Atlanta, but we're not as bad as we looked earlier on. And that's something I can truly say. I don't think we're bad at all. I mean, so it begs to the question has to be answered. Why not this effort in the first half? Back to what Jermaine was saying, and I got you there. Yeah, great minds think alike. You're absolutely right. Think about those games he ran off. Think about it. Cardinals, Titans, Colts, Seahawks. Would today's team have beat those teams? Absolutely, they would have. Would today's defense have beat those teams? Absolutely, they would have. That's the only thing in question. It's not a matter of do I like you or do I like Dan Quinn as a person. It's not personal. It's about 2 years in a row where I can't get a year-long focus. It's great that you're focusing in November and December and finishing the job. I need that same focus coming out of training camp. And obviously in training camp, because your preseason record shows that you're not really about winning in the preseason too, which is when you need to start. That bothers me. Brother Demetrius, how you doing, sir? Good to hear from you out there. Let me get down here. Kimfo say Quinn, I believe, earned the right to coach the team next season, but Dimitrov has to go. Listen, my argument is, both of them have flaws that will make you really evaluate the season. And I'm sure between Rich McKay and Arthur Blank that the evaluation process has been going on. I tell you what, if DQ keeps this job one more year, it's going to take a lot to get this fan base into it. Listen, I'm going to be a Falcon fan no matter what, but those fans that are on the fence, you're going to lose a lot of fans on the fence if you keep DQ around here. And I'm not saying that's the most important thing. You know what? You keep who you can keep. You'll always gain new fans somewhere anyway. But I still say that I don't know, y'all. I think I would still lean towards getting some new eyes in here, whether that be TD, whether that be DQ. Either way, there's valid reason to sit them, put both names on the chalkboard side by side, put pros and cons, and at the end say, are we a better team without these guys? Because you see the talent. Julio balling. Hey, much to some of y'all chagrin, Matt Ryan balling at times. Devonta showed life. Hooper catching the ball again. Gage doing well. I'm going to get on Gage in a minute. Listen, anybody who know me, I've been singing that Gage song all year long. He's starting to show up a little bit. Grady Jarrett, I don't even need to say anything about Grady. Debo flying around. The two cornerbacks, the young cornerbacks, we're going to talk about those two guys too. Just a complete turnaround from the type of play we had in September and October. That has to be accounted for. It has to. Mr. Glover says you can't bring in a new GM and keep the old coach. That just prolongs trash. Who said keep both of them? I mean, who said keep one and get rid of the other one? I say let's end the era totally. I say you bring in a GM first and you tell the GM, it's your decision whether you want to keep Matt. I'm Matt, Lord have mercy. Keep Dan Quinn. And that's up to him. It's the way I feel. Say, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They both go, they both stay. I have never been in the park of keep one and let the other one stay. I agree with you. You want them, both of them go, or they both stay. One of the two. Because it is going to be kind of hard if a new GM comes in here and the new GM wants to do things his way, and Dan Quinn has been used to having his little 50-50 say-so. The GM might come in here and say, you know what? Coach them on the field. Let me get your personnel ready. So it's good. I either say get rid of both of them or keep both of them. One way or the other. Let me back up here a little bit. Timothy, let's see. Ken Throat says Freeman was running like Freeman in 2015 and 16 before he got the big checks. It's a fact. It's just a fact. He has not been the same person since Mrs. Campbell came up and blasted the Falcons during that Super Bowl week. He has not been the same person. You're right today, though. Today might have been the most energetic I've seen Freeman play, quite frankly, since 2017. I have not seen him bounce around and move around like he has done since that time. And he looked good. Brian Hill looked good, too, and it's cheaper. Timothy says, I'm with you on that, Jermaine. Those 4 games separated this season on making it to the playoffs this year. Do y'all realize at 5-2, the Falcons are the 3rd best team, only behind Baltimore? I'm trying to think who the other one that I saw. only behind Baltimore and somebody else. Can y'all believe that? CP, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you, buddy. Happy holidays to you and to your family as well, brother. Thank you for always checking in. Thank you for always checking in. We appreciate that. Benjamin, how you doing, sir? I feel like we have a great team. I do feel like it's a coaching issue. Michael, how you doing, sir? Rise up 2020. If you don't have that junkyard dog next year, defense and offense whole team needs to show up with it. We want to win a championship 2020. Bring it. I'm 100% down with you. I'm going to come back to something you just said, though, Michael, in a second. Leland says those 4 games, those 4 teams he talked about would have been blowouts with this team. Benjamin said they aren't true fans if they hop the fence. That's why I told you is people that's, you know, and you know them and you see them. They're in our post. They're at the game. The ones who they show up when the good times, and then when it's kind of lean, they're the ones that behind the back poking and laughing at how, you know, we're in despair. That you have fans like that in all bases. It's not just the Falcons. Lisa, how you doing, Lisa? Can't earn the right to coach when you have consecutive losing seasons. You earn the right to coach based on wins. I've never heard of rewarding a coach for losing. My 2 cents. Your 2 cents are valued here, young lady, and you are correct. You can't keep rewarding mediocrity when you have been given 2 years in a row. You've been given an opportunity to redeem yourself. There was a certain bit of redemption from 2017, even though you made the playoffs. But you had a young team. This young team was expected to get better. Remember, we were 11-5 the Super Bowl year. In my opinion, I think we should have improved to at least 12-4. So it was a little bit of a letdown that we didn't win the division and we only won 1 playoff game. But then you go into 2018, and the excuses mount up because you did have injuries. But we got to stop that particular thing because the injuries, we have injuries just like a lot of other teams in the NFL have injuries. But it always seems like other teams have better depth than we did. So this year you went out in the draft, you got depth, you got some offensive linemen, you did what you're supposed to do, and you start off 1-7. And when you start off 1-7, you expect us to be patient at coming off of what just happened in 2018. And I'm sorry, you don't get a second pass. Your pass was this year. Your opportunity to redeem yourself was this year, and you failed. Even if you win this game here, win 4 straight, go 6-2 the second half of the season, your overall grade is an F because you did not improve upon what was supposed to be a fluke season of losing last year. So listen, I am thrilled about today's win, and we're going to talk more about today's win. But since y'all asking me the questions, I have to keep it real with y'all. I mean, I can't give passes. Timothy says, yes, I agree, Stephen. DQ is way over his head trying to revamp our defense early on. 1 more year with DQ, and let's see how it pans out. Hey, we'll find out this time next week, because I think you make the move quick. I don't think you wait around. We'll find out if this time next Monday Dan Quinn is still the coach, then he ain't going nowhere. Or Dimitrov. I don't think blank fires one and keeps the other. I think he starts over. Damien, if we start winning those fans, they will come. Dude, you win games, fans will come. Look at how empty the Raiders Stadium was earlier this year. And I know they were getting ready to leave. And I know the fans were just about done with them. But when the Raiders were winning a little bit this year, and it was their time to shine, they were packing that stadium out. And look at today with them up there with the Chargers. I know they're sharing digs and stuff, but look at what's going on. Full stadium full of Raiders fans. If you win, they will come. Cleveland messed around and won 2 games in a row earlier, like a few weeks ago, before they start getting drugged every week. You win, folks start showing up. Carolina, 5-6 weeks ago, high on the hog. We don't need Cam Newton. Let's bring this cat in here and just tell him to give to McCaffrey 30 times and throw to McCaffrey 20 times, and let's win the game. Fans packed it out. Well, you showed that game the other week against the Falcons when they went up to Carolina and stuff, and it was all packed. Shoot, the other day they had that game, nobody's there. Fans just want you to win. They don't care how. Almost don't care who. They just want you to win. Glover says, screw them fans. I've been here since Jeff George. You got to ride or die. That's me. Ride or die. Winston, what's going on, buddy? DQ is a good coach. He just took on too much. Okay, I said that. Sorry about that. Rick, how are you, Rick? We must get the field goal kicker from Georgia, but our GM won't get player from Georgia. You know what, Rick? And that kind of depends. If it's the same GM, I'm not totally betting that he will be here. Now, I would say Blankenship would be an interesting decision if he was available maybe in the 6th. So you can't get a kicker in the fourth round up. You can't. We have too many every down player needs on this team to get a kicker in the 4th round. And he might be gone by then from a team that does need a kicker, but you cannot let him. You cannot pick him in the 4th round. Now, if we have a 5th round pick, 6th round pick, maybe, but you can't do it. Jory, what's going on, man? I agree. We need a lot of changes with this organization. Let's try that again. I agree. We still need a lot of changes with this organization, regardless of the results we're getting. I'm right there with you. Leland, my thing is Atlanta sports, period. We never go after a big name. We always grab something from the bottom of the barrel and try to make it something. Brother Tidy, how you doing, sir? What's going on? Appreciate that little push today when we were sitting there trying to see how those boys were going to start up, and they started off fine and ended the game fine. Damian, the O-line has stepped up. That's why we've been having a run game. Absolutely. Jimmy, Blank won't fire them. He's too nice. Benjamin, well, the Bills are an example of that their stadium is full this year every game. Yep. Yeah, Winston's at Blankenship. I knew who you were talking about. My bad. If I said something different, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Jimmy, top needs D tackle, running back depth, and cornerback. I would probably still add offensive line on there. You listen, as really good as Lindstrom and McGarry have been playing, and you can tell there's a little bit of difference going on there. Lindstrom, we may have missed him more than we think when he got hurt in that first week. But still needs some O-line help. Still might need that heir apparent to Alex Mack and reevaluate whether Jake Matthews should be part of this team. We got rid of Schrader when he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. Why can't we do the same with Jake Matthews? Because he has a more famous name? No, sir. No, sir. 6 or 7 round Blankenship gone. Be money and damn steal, honestly. Yeah. I agree if he did fall that far. But we do need to, what we learned this year about the kicking position, you got to bring some competition in there. We learned the hard way that you cannot just let the kicker go in there and say it's your job and keep screwing up. Then you bring in a has-been kicker, which all of the free world was screaming, "Oh, bring Matt back, bring Matt Bryant back." And Mike Bryant went out there and gave us like 3 games worth of field goals and was garbage since. Get back up top here to a couple of you guys. Dre, how you doing, sir? Quinn returning. Arthur went down the field like he made his job secure for another season. Yeah, we'll see. David, speaking of the game, I'm happy about the win, but 500 yards of total offense and only 24 points, a little disappointing. Brandon says we need another lineman like Lindstrom, preferably a bigger, more like a mauler. If you're talking about guard, I don't know. Would love to see if Mr. Thomas would fall down out of the top 10. I don't think he will. My brother who just declared for Georgia, either him or Isaiah Thomas. Even though a lot of people are grading Thomas in the second round, that's pretty good. I said, Lindstrom is a damn dog, right? Absolutely. CP says 1-4 versus playoff teams, with the exception of Houston. We played all those teams close. What could have been? And that's the thing that disappoints you. It disappoints you that this team did not live up to their talent level. To me, it's players, but it's also those coaches who are coaching you up. That's why I'm not giving any slack to Dan Quinn with that. Thomas Dimitroff, yes, a little, but I think that's more Dan Quinn. Brandon says need a DT in Vita Vea mode, bit athletic space eater. I agree that could work. JR, what's up, buddy? 500 yards of offense and only 24 points. Do you see a problem? I do. Twan, I think once we get this offensive line going, we'll be fine. And Quinn decides to keep Cutter. He has to let Cutter install a majority of the playbook in our offense because it's hard for anyone to game plan with another guy's playbook. And Matt has found that out too many times. Brandon definitely need a sideline to sideline linebacker, somebody who can move Debo out to the wheel. I tell you what, though, you got to give my man Campbell a lot of credit. He's no Debo, but he's been pretty solid this year. 118 tackles through the year, leading the team in tackles. Really good job by him. King Richie, our rookie O-line men look good. They do. Keyshawn says, fire Dan Quinn, bring in Mel Tucker. Mel Tucker just got a job, man. He's fine. Mel Tucker's he's got to earn his wings in the who's he out of? Colorado, right? You can't bring Mel Tucker in here to the Falcons. No, let him do his job out there in Colorado. So let's talk about the game real quick. We'll talk about the future. We got plenty of time to talk about it because obviously we're not going to do anything else past December. Let's look at these numbers, y'all. Matt Ryan, 32 for 45, 384 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 pretty bad interceptions. When y'all talk about 500 yards of offense is only 24 points, we left a lot out there. I think about when we could have had the first down, and who was that? Was that Schreiber, Wes Schreiber, that jumped off sides or false start? And then Matt not looking off that safety. I know some of your football minds out there, that one play where he tried to go deep, I think he made a couple of mistakes to a John Harris specialty. He kind of, go back and look, he gave a kind of look like he was trying to look off the safety, but it didn't work because by the time he took the 3 seconds to wind his arm back up, the safety realized by then he was going deep. Julio had a step on the cornerback, but Matt took too long to wind that bad boy up and gave the safety plenty of time to run over there and jump. Very good interception by the safety. Very bad decision from Matt to throw that ball. And then the other ball, the other interception, as I did say, was bad, but I also blame. I'll take a little bit. I'll give Julio a little bit on that because Julio got comfortable and thought the ball was going to come in his gut, and dude came through. You could have been pity-pat and called interference on that, but they're both going for the ball, and the cornerback wanted the ball more than Julio did, and he jumped in front of him. Another good play from the cornerback, in my opinion. I think definitely Matt shouldn't have thrown the long one. The other one, yeah, it was tight coverage. I understand it's Julio, but Julio didn't fight for that second ball. Remind me, too, I'm getting ready to mention a Matt Julio moment in a couple of seconds as well. Catch up with a couple of y'all up here. Lynn, how are you? Rise up. Good game. Wish we would have started this winning sooner. That makes two of us, Lynn. Absolutely. Antonio, what's going on, sir? Was at the game and it was promising. What's your thoughts going forward for the team? Rise up, Shotty. The thoughts, Antonio, going forward. I'm not trying to sound mean. I'm not trying to sound like I'm just stuck in my ways and not willing to listen to change. But Antonio, I have to hold Dan Quinn accountable for September and October. I cannot continue to say, well, that was a good finish. Let's let them stay again one more time. We did that last year. I almost give Arthur Blank credit for saying, you know what, I'm going to give you one more chance. And with Dan Quinn, the moves he made, he took every coordinator and shipped them off. He named himself a coordinator. He brought in Dirk Cutter and brought in a new special teams guy. And he said, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down with these guys, my guys. And you start the season 1-7. You have to be held accountable for that. And if Arthur Blank, if this was 60 to 70% of the owners in the NFL, Dan Quinn would not have come back after the bye week. And we would have started looking towards 2020. Does that mean tank? No. But that means start looking forward to who's out there. Hey, you got to get Washington, Carolina. They're going to get a jump on talking to the Lincoln Rileys and the people like that, because their coaching situation is with interim coaches. They know good and well the people in place now are going to stay. So what you do is you should have made that move at the bye so you could be first dibs. Like when the college season is done, you'd be the first one to say, hey, let me see who's available. Did y'all see Urban Meyer at the Washington Redskins game last week? You gotta wonder. Maybe Snyder has started greasing those wheels and seeing if that's something that might be a match. You never know. Brandon said it was a bad throw. It happens. Oh, let me make sure. Of course you're going to have bad throws. I'm just saying for those two, when you start talking about 500 yards of offense, to a couple of folks' point here, you have to come up with more than 24 points. We left a lot of points out there. A couple of because of penalties. We did miss a field goal as well. And, just those two drives. We should have destroyed this team. This team had one touchdown. They were lucky to get that one. That was a fluky play. Best throw Minshew got. Minshew, I tell you what, I am so unimpressed with him. Everybody was acting like he was this Brett Favre type, go-getter, gunslinger, whatever he is when he was playing. Aside of the runs that he did at his feet, I think he threw maybe three balls to the receivers that were impressive. Everything else was either a quick throw to Fournette, a quick throw to the tight end, or him scampering for a few yards. Minshew is trash. Dre, what's going on again? Dre, damn the stats, 24 plus 2 interceptions against a trash team, please. Offense still predictable, but the positive is they can clean that up next season. Need to address the secondary because Canu might. I'm saying got to find another headhunter. Well, Neil's going to be here next year. I don't think you cut Neil. He's going to be here because, I mean, you have absolutely nothing to lose with that. I know, I think Tidy was telling me that if you do cut him, you lose his salary. But in my opinion, I think he's bled black and red since he's been here. So you might as well if he's going to come back 100%, you might as well go ahead and let him do what he needs to do on that last year. I mean, unless you truly think he's not going to add anything to us. Yeah, Mr. Glover said we left 24 points out there. We did. Jaqual, listening to the commentary, it's not looking good for them moving on from Quinn. It's frustrating as much as it is making me happy to get these wins the way they are. Playing way better than our record shows. Talent definitely wasn't the problem. I think as much as I hear that, and the players are accountable too, but a team mentality, a team usually takes the mentality and personality of their coach. Was there anything in those first 8 games that showed me any type of personality, any type of identity? There was not in the first 8 games. And contrary to, these last couple of games have been feel good. I've been happy. San Francisco, I was jumping higher than anybody at a Christmas party when Julio scored the touchdown. New Orleans game, I'm doing flips. Actually not, but I'm in my mind doing flips when we win that game. But that still doesn't excuse the brain farts from game 1 to 8. That was miserable football. We can't forget that. Do y'all remember how miserable we were coming to these same forums after the game? Against Minnesota, against Seattle, against the Rams, against Tennessee, against the Colts, against the Cardinals. Just too many teams. Ridiculous play. And then all of a sudden, because you turned the light on in November and December, that we're supposed to forgive you. How long do you have to keep doing this? We can't keep playing that game. It is nothing personal. I actually like Dan Quinn a lot. I do. And I wish I could sit here and say I have confidence in him going forward, but I don't. Because if we let him keep the keys to this car, and we're going to do the same thing, we're going to sit there and try to start it in September, start it, and it's not going to turn over till November, and we'll be sitting here singing the same song, talking about the next hot coach from college, talking about what coulda, shoulda, woulda been. And after 2 years in a row, shame on us if we sit here and accept it, in my opinion. David, I'm not going to get on Julio too tough about the second pick. I thought it was just a horrible decision by Matt. He had Gage short and tried to force that one to Julio. Hit Gage short and live on to fight a third down. Absolutely valid point, David. I think at that time he had a little thing going on with Julio. You got to admit, him and Julio had some nice connection during the game. And you're right. He probably did force it a little bit. But all I ask you, David, is to look at it, go back and look at that play, and who do you think gave the better fight on that ball? I understand it's just one play, and I understand, listen, we all say it's one play, but sometimes it's that one play that turns it. This one didn't happen to. But go back and look at that interception. Anybody, y'all go back and look at it. Look and see, even though Matt didn't throw a great ball, do you think Julio could have gone out there and got it? That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong, But go back and look at it and then tell me your opinion. But I do hear what you're saying. Gage, man, let me tell y'all. Gage was the reason why I wasn't heartbroken and sending out Hallmark cards when Sanu was traded. Gage is going to be nice. He was nice last year when he got here. And he was nice before he got hurt. Gage rarely drops pass. The only pass that he couldn't catch today was the one that Matt threw a little bit ahead of him. Gage is actually very nice. And while he's not going to be mistaken for Julio or even Ridley for that matter, Gage is going to be a nice possession receiver. And somebody who, because, I mean, I want to say element or somebody like that, but he's definitely somebody who gets in the trenches and gets those tough catches, especially those balls sometimes that Matt might overthrow or underthrow. Antonio says we still need to fire Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff. This doesn't change the fact that we are missing the playoffs again. Reggie, wish Matt would stop forcing the ball to Julio when he's covered. I didn't even see your comment, but I think you heard what I said. I agree with you. Lisa, so what's our team identity? I can't say conclusively. That's a big deal, Lisa, because you're Dr. Jekyll in the first 8 weeks and you're Mr. Hyde in the last 8 weeks. That doesn't make for a playoff team. There are sometimes very rare occasions where you see a team start off very, 2-4-ish, 2-5, and then all of a sudden go on this hot streak. Actually, this year, I'm trying to think, has there been any team that really, after week 6, has there been any team, maybe Pittsburgh, even though they've come back to earth a little bit as well, but there hasn't been that team that you can say started that slow and all of a sudden they're saying, oh, I don't want to play them. I think all the big teams are already established, especially the NFC. NFC dominance right now is pretty sad. In the NFC, you're probably going to get – I don't see a clear-cut favorite in the NFC at all. I think the NFC can go 4 deep, depending on who has home field advantage. Brandon, y'all talking about the offense not scoring. What about the defense not stopping these teams, giving up garbage touchdowns? Oh, that's true too. Listen, but let's keep that real too. We gave up 1 touchdown today, and the 1 touchdown, it's not. The one thing I've seen with these 2 guys in the back, and I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to mistake them for Darrelle Revis or Champ Bailey or anybody like that. But the growth of Sheffield and Oliver this year, underneath, really, especially since Morris has kind of gone back there and taken them under his wing, it's really impressive. You don't see guys running 10 yards down the field, especially in the man-to-man situations like they used to do against True all the time. The guys are right there battling. There was one play to a wide receiver, one of only about 4, because Mitch, you can't throw, where Oliver was 1 inch from grabbing the ball right there in front, right where he's supposed to be. But the ball somehow got through and got to the receiver. Am I mad at Oliver for that? No, because he was in position and he was trying to make a play. That's what he's supposed to do as a cornerback. You try to make a play. So I do give him credit for that. But going into next season, cornerback is definitely one of our needs. But these young men here, I think the Sheffield and Oliver project, I think you need to continue that. I think those guys have been playing much better. Much better. And 1 more year under their belt, I think come next year, might be surprised, man. These guys might shock you. Russell, we're a team that beats bad teams and teams missing over half their defensive starters. New Orleans? I don't think New Orleans is in that category. Don't think San Francisco is in that category. And when we played Carolina at the time, Carolina was on a roll. Carolina was the second wild card team at the time that we played them. So I hear you, not 100% accurate on that, but yeah, because I don't know. Only bad teams we beaten is the second time we played Carolina. They were really bad then. And the Jaguars. And the other three teams at that time were actually pretty good. Jaqual said, we are a fan base too hungry for a championship to be okay with finishing strong without a win playoff showing. Trust me, I get it. Today's society, everyone is absolutely focused on the championship run. That's why it's so disappointing when you don't win when it's time. That is the absolute reason why we must make a change. Why do you say we evaluate Jake Matthews? Because I think Jake Matthews has at times, Brandon, when you see the sacks that were happening, granted, Matt hasn't been stepping up when he needs to. I see too many blindside hits on Matt. And when you see blindside hits, that's a left tackle. Definitely have seen a lot on McGarry's side. Don't get me wrong. But McGarry's excuse this year, his past this year, is that this is his first NFL season. Jake Matthews has been here for a minute, and Jake Matthews is playing on a second contract. You can't Ole guys through the line and let them hit your $150 million quarterback. I mean, that's why I say reevaluate. Orion, what's going on, buddy? Because them games, DQ was trying to be a head coach in DC, but when he stopped calling defensive plays, we started playing better. So Dan cost us our season. I'll take some of that evidence and take it to court when it's time to decide on his fate. That's a great statement. Corey, I agree. I've been watching Gage since he was in college. I knew he was nice. Very nice. Very solid. I said, he's not going to be mistaken for elite. He's not going to be mistaken for all pro. But when you throw that ball in his direction, he catches it pretty much 9 out of 10 times. Kevin, I'm not a Dirk fan, but he has been better as of late. Two has definitely been getting it out quicker due to play designs. Seems after the bye week, both coordinators have catered to the skill set. I think Q did a good job on moving some pieces, but it may be too late. Your last sentence. I think Q has done a good job on moving some pieces. He has. Make it clear he has. But when you're losing, when you're 1-3, when you're 1-4, when you're 1-5, you should have been making those changes then. The season, you have 16 opportunities to prove your worth in the NFL. Do your job 10 of those 16 weeks. Most of the time, you'll be playing in January. You cannot sit and wait until week 8 and 9 or wait to get to that point and say, don't worry about it. We'll clean it up when it comes to the bye week. You can't afford to do that. Not in the NFL. You can't do that. So that's why I have a problem with him. Twan says, don't get me wrong, it was several games he didn't play like he should. This guy was a Pro Bowler last year. The potential there, he just has to be more consistent with his technique. Part of that is on him, and part of that is on our sorry O-line coach. And that's the thing, Brandon. Thank you, Twan, because I think that is absolutely a good point. He did not play well. Now, the O-line as a whole, they've played well the last couple of games. They absolutely have. So, does he? I say you just can't get a pass. You're on the second contract. You already had to give some money back this year. You might have to start thinking about whether we need to get rid of you altogether. I'm not saying cut him because you want to keep some continuity on the offensive line, but I just need better play game 1 through game 16. You can't have 2 games and then say, oh, he's great, hold him around. That's the thing that I don't like. We'll have spot good games from some of these guys, and then we say because they had one good game, oh, keep them. No, my evaluation starts from September. Actually, it starts in August. From August all the way through December. That's what your evaluation should be. Twan says my problem with Gage is he has to have more consistent hands. Really? Gage catches quite a bit. Look at some of the passes Matt's throwing them, though, Twan. I got to disagree with you on that. Gage is actually, I haven't seen Gage drop too many passes. And maybe, listen, I'm sure he has dropped 1 or 2, but for the most part, he usually catches those. Reggie said, I hope Rico not hurt too bad. Yeah, I know that would be a bad loss if we could. Yeah, KZ almost got one too. Yep. Brandon, I always thought Jake Matthews was suspect. Definitely is not a lineman who strikes fear in his opponents. Brandon, he is living off the family name. He's like he's living off of his uncle, his dad. He's living off that man, his cousin. He's living off the family name. I really agree with that. I think he's good, but I think he's living off the family name. Reggie, let's see how he does in Tampa last game of the season. Yeah. Brandon, the Benz was a tomb this year. Well, of course it is. You got to win. Who wants to go to the season? Hey, listen, for those of you who made it out there today, I applaud you. Today was nasty, cold, wet, windy conditions from the time the game started till the time the game ends. Either you went to the game because you're just bored to death or you really love your Falcons. And I give you credit for those of you who came out there with Falcons. Actually, I didn't realize they were doing I threw it to the side, the little loyalty pin thing today. They gave it a little loyalty pin at the desk. I thought that was kind of cool. If you come to every game, I guess they got a record of you coming in. So that's cool. Lisa said, yes, I made it to the Benz. Ticket already paid for. I love our Falcons. Reggie, we should have took Taylor Lewan over Jake, but look who our GM is, TD. Listen, again, hindsight is 2020, y'all. We gotta, as far as that's concerned, you're absolutely right. Maybe we could have made a better pick, but he is what we have now, so we gotta, we gotta take him. Just to let y'all know, in case y'all switching back and forth, looks like the Eagles are beating the Cowboys 17-9, 4 minutes, 33 seconds left. Dallas has the ball, and Seattle, surprisingly, is down 10 points to down 7 points, 20-13 to the Arizona Cardinals. So Arizona trying to give a little love to San Francisco, because I think if Seattle loses, I think that drops them down to 5th place. So really the winner of that game between Seattle and San Francisco is going to be a good share. The worst I think that they could do, the winner of next week's game, the worst is going to be second seed. So, we'll see. Jimmy Wayne says, screw them boys. Yeah, I'm not rooting for the Cowboys, for the record. Not a huge Philly guy either, but I would rather Philadelphia win. Dallas obnoxious fan base is just enough to get on your nerves. Atlanta rise up. How you doing, DeMarcus? What's going on, sir? Okay, so again, let's go. Oh, Lord, and Dak just missed the man on the ball. So let's look back at the numbers. I told y'all again, Matt Ryan, 32 for 45, 384 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Rushing for the day, Brian Hill actually led the Falcons in rushing with 66 yards, average 9.4 a carry, couple of tough runs, especially when we needed to score near the end just to make sure we stretched that lead out enough. Devonta had a good day rushing and a good day receiving. He had 13 carries for 53 yards, 1 touchdown. Receiving, he had 9 receptions, 74 yards, and another touchdown. Julio, 10 catches, 166 yards, no touchdowns, but again, just a big day from him. And for those of you who were at the game, there was a very good little moment for those of you who want to say, there could be some kind of rift or anything between Matt and Julio, which I don't think anybody has ever said. But at the same time, today just reaffirmed some stuff for me. Well, Matt Ryan earlier today became he has 9 straight years of 4,000 yards. And look, we all talk about empty stats and garbage stats and whatever. But in order for you to have 9 years of 4,000 yards, that means you're staying on the field. And that means you're pretty consistent. And yes, has Matt had some dumpy years in the last 5 or 6 years aside of the MVP year? Absolutely. But to throw for 4,000 yards for 9 consecutive seasons, you have to give him his credit. Julio became the fastest NFL receiver to get to 12,000 yards. They showed on the big screen when Julio got the milestone and Ryan Cameron announced it to the crowd. And we announced that was this 12,000 yards, and Julio was sitting right next to Matt. And when they said, "Congratulations, Julio," of course, the crowd goes crazy. And Julio kind of, gets the crowd pumping. Well, Matt is right next to him. Matt gives him a pat on the shoulder, like, "Good job." And Julio returns back and gives a pat to Matt. And I think what that was validation of to him, for anybody who thinks that you can't do one without the other. I know me and my brother Tidy have a long argument sometimes about the greatness of players. There's no doubt that Julio is on a different level than Matt Ryan as far as in his position, without a doubt. But Julio doesn't get the opportunities he gets if the quarterback can't get it to him. Matt has been Julio's quarterback for 99.6% of the yards that have been thrown to him. So I think that was Julio's way of acknowledging it. If it was anybody who saw that today, if anybody saw that, let me know if you noticed that too. I thought that was kind of cool, or maybe that was me reading more into it than I should have. But I thought that was a pretty cool moment right there with 2 of the greatest Falcons that have played in that uniform. Jimmy Wayne says 45 passing attempts is too many. Well, you know what, Jimmy? It's too many if you're not scoring, if you're only scoring 24 points. I think our run game is good. As a total, we ran for 27. We ran 27 times, 135 yards, and 5 yards per carry. So we ran the ball 27 times. 45, yeah, maybe not the greatest, but our run game has not arrived. I think some of the yards per play in the running game might be a little skewed because we definitely had a couple of gash runs. I know Brian Hill had two of them that were 15 yards plus, and I think Devonta, the touchdown was 19 yards or whatever. So sometimes when you have those runs, they kind of skew things a little bit and make it look like you're running better than you are. Those were some great plays and great execution on those plays. But we still don't have the running game where you can say, I'm going to take this ball on this drive. It's going to be a 12-4 run to pass ratio and get us down into the red zone. We don't have that offense yet, but I do like the growth of our offensive line and where that's going. So hopefully we'll get to that point pretty soon. But you're right, 45 passing attempts. If you're throwing the ball 45 times, one, it should be a shootout, or two, your running stats should be like 10 for -40, and you just can't run the ball at all. But you're right, that's a lot of attempts. That being said, you have the tools to get, and out of those 45 attempts, Devonta got 9, Keith Smith got 1. So that's 10 of them that went to your running backs, which in essence is mostly a kind of a running play anyway. So too many, but hey, when you win, it's all good to me. Jaquan, he'll hit the holes nicely. Hit them very nice. Tevin, I'm about to say, can we talk? Kevin Free had some good runs called back today. He did. Had a couple of holding calls. Getting back into that penalty thing again. We were doing well coming out of the bye week on that. You start being careful about those penalties. Brandon, Allison made us forget about how good of a goal line back Ito is. Allison is surprising to me that he's not getting the ball a lot more. Now, you had a good little thing going on today with Freeman and Hill. So for the plays that Dirk Cutter runs, maybe those guys are better equipped for that. But I like the Allison coming. Almost reminds me of when TJ Duckett was there to kind of finish things off inside the 5 sometimes. Allison can be that guy. You can have that. You can have that work for you. Why not? Brother Corey, how you doing, buddy? Said, look forward to next year. Yeah, I know. Brandon, ever since Ridley went out, it's like the Matt and Julio have put the onus on themselves. They need to do that from the beginning. Can't argue with that. Reggie, we are thankful to have Julio and Matt. Yep. Matt's arm, Orion says, is getting weak. He rarely hits receivers in stride, and I appreciate what he's done, but it's time to bring somebody in who can get the job done. Well, here's my only thing. Orion, is he not getting the job done, or is he not at his peak? If he's not at his peak, I can listen to you. I can hear you. Matt is not what he was 5 years ago. No. But if you give Matt a little time, he can still win some games for you. Hey, who would you rather have, Matt Ryan right now or Phillip Rivers? Who would you rather have right now, Matt Ryan or Eli Manning? I mean, yes, when you get older, unless your name is Tom Brady or Drew Brees, for the most part, your game deteriorates. Is Matt on the wrong side of the hill as far as his career? Yes. But today proved that with a little bit of blocking and a little bit of creativity in your offense, give Dirk Cutter all the credit in the world today, you can still win some games. And I'm not looking – we don't need an all-pro quarterback to win, y'all. And that's the one thing that kind of bothers me when people start talking about we need somebody like Lamar. We need somebody – you know what? The majority of the time, you don't need the greatest quarterback in the world. See Nick Foles. And really, when you break down aside of the Tom Brady era that's come in, yeah, it's great. You need to have a really good quarterback to get what you need to get done, but we don't have to have the all-pro quarterback. If I have somebody that I know is a leader on the team and that can drive them down in the last second, like Matt did last week, and like he's done more than anybody else since he's come into the league, I'll take that. Matt Ryan or Dak Prescott, exactly. That's my point. Exactly. Yeah, I'll take Matt. Thank you. Y'all can have Dak. Even though I like Dak at Mississippi State. Matt over trash guy. Orion, he is not at his peak on the deep route. He doesn't hit the receiver in stride like today, the pass to Hooper, where he had to turn around and catch the ball, and it would have hit him in stride. Hooper would have scored. Okay, now I will say about that particular play too, that's awareness as well. Now, if you say throw it in stride, remember where he's throwing it now. He's throwing it out in the flat. When Hooper was going in that direction, you can't throw that ball out in front of him. The defender was 2 or 3 yards in front. You float that ball to where you get him in stride, you'll get a pick six coming down the field. I know the play you're talking about at the end of the half when we had the opportunity to score a touchdown instead of a field goal. If that's the play you're talking about, you can't throw that ball in stride. Matter of fact, I was kind of scared when he threw the ball over there anyway because the cornerback was a little bit far back. If he would have tried to lead Hooper on that particular pass, that was going to get intercepted. Matter of fact, not only intercepted, there was nobody that would have caught him down that sideline. So I slightly disagree, but Orion, make sure you're telling me that that's the play that you're talking about. And not only that, when Hooper caught that ball, we could have still got a first down on that play. There was plenty of time left for us to do what we needed to do. He caught the ball, not only did not have awareness of where the first down marker was, but then he went out of bounds. He went out of bounds when he probably should have gone and stayed in. The Falcons still had a timeout. It's not like we didn't have the timeouts to use. You're inside the goal. Shoot, you get that far in. I don't need any timeouts now. Because if I'm at the 1 yard line, one, I'm not going to run the ball. And two, if you're inside the 2 or 3 yard line, come on, you're going to either throw the ball away or throw the ball for a touchdown. That was bad awareness on Hooper's part. And if you looked at Hooper after he did that play, you saw the look on his face like, I can't believe I just tiptoed myself out of bounds and wasn't looking at the marker. And there was a smattering of boos going on with it. It wasn't Hoop then. It was a smattering of boos because Hoop screwed that up. Brandon says Vic Beasley is a different player these last couple of weeks because he's playing for his next contract. He's playing for the next team that's looking for his contract. He knows he's not going to be here in Atlanta. He knows that. So he still has to show other teams in the NFL he could still do it. I would love to see if he settled for 1 year, $4 million contracts and we give him a prove-it contract here to see what he says. Who knows, depending on who's here. Maurice, Hooper was at fault on that one. Hooper tried to run out of bounds. It seemed like he didn't realize the time as well as how open of a path he had to the end zone. Maurice, not only could he have caught the ball, the DB was playing like 2 yards off of him. Hooper could have easily, because he went back about 4 steps. He could have easily got the ball, fell forward, and got the touchdown. Almost. I know it's about 4 yards away. But he would have fell forward. He would have got the first down. That's bad awareness on Hooper's part. I don't blame that on Matt. Not at all. Jimmy says Matt Matt has never had a deep ball. No quarterback hardly in the league does. What he does have is a good 30 to 40-yard arm that's decent enough with the speed we have. And, we've only come in the last few years where arm strength has been a big, big deal. The big-time quarterbacks of the past, they didn't have arm strength. That's why when Doug Williams came into the league, they were calling him a freak of nature. Doug Williams could throw that ball longer and longer than anybody really probably before him. Now, Doug, was he the most accurate person in the world? No, he wasn't. But Doug Williams, when he came in that league and he started throwing that ball around like he did, folks in the NFL was like, woo! And I'm trying to think who was his big receiver. That Kevin House? I'm trying to think who was he throwing the ball to. But he was throwing bombs out his behind when he came out of Grambling. I mean, he was the truth. Now, with the way these guys work out and with the way these guys have where they're specifically working on parts of your mechanics, let's face it, y'all, back in the old NFL, they weren't doing all of that. They looked around and they said, oh, he could play quarterback. Yeah, you can throw the ball pretty good. Come on to your team. Come on and play. You can do it. Now, these guys have so much arm strength now, all of them coming out. And Matt was just on that last side of the, didn't work out. I'm not saying he didn't work out. Arm strength was not as important as what was up here. And that wasn't taken into account as much as it is now. Now, going forward, oh, yeah, the next person that come out of here, they better be able to throw the ball in the air 50 yards. But I think Matt is one of the last folks that you're going to find like that, in my opinion. Lisa said I was confused by that play, too. I was like, what is Hoop doing? And Lisa, when he did that, folks wasn't saying Hoop. They were saying, boo, what are you doing? It was ridiculous. So when you start talking about points, the points we left out there and why we have 500 yards of offense and we only had 24 points, that was another one. Reggie Wright, Steve Vick is putting tape together for other teams. That's right. Lisa said Hooper could have scored. Orion, no, it was the fourth quarter pass to Hooper. Look at the highlights. You'll see what I'm talking about. Oh, you're talking about in the fourth quarter. Okay. All right. My bad. I thought you were talking about the quarter. I thought you were talking about the play before halftime. Okay. I actually think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. He was off on that one. The one I was talking about before halftime. My bad. I'm trying to think what that is. Okay. So now let's talk about the defense, y'all. Defense. Wow. I mean, one touchdown. And the touchdown they gave up, yeah, it was kind of a fluky pass, and the receiver had a really good catch. He dug deep down to get that catch. That was actually pretty good. Give him credit. Arizona, man. Arizona is beating up on Seattle. I digress. 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. Arizona is up 27-13. That is crazy. Philadelphia wins the game against Dallas. Raiders win 24-17 over San Diego. Denver finishes off Detroit 27-17. The only game still going on right now is Seattle versus Arizona. That's deep. So when we start thinking about the overall look at the game, y'all, the Falcons just too little too late for me, man. It's too little too late. Love my Falcons. Yelling and screaming for every play. Great job. And it's good. But in Steve's opinion, does this save Dan Quinn's job? Nah. It's time to move on, man. It's time to move on. I think the experiment from last year, I think you gave him his opportunity. Now it's time to move on. Absolutely. Bruce, what's going on, man? Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Julie, how are you? And Merry Christmas to you, Julie. Merry Christmas to you. Matter of fact, Merry Christmas to everybody. I'm coming on for the Aftermath show tomorrow. But after that, I will be off until after Christmas. So for those of you who don't catch me tomorrow, just Merry Christmas. And I thank everyone this year. This is my first year doing this as a whole. I promise y'all we're going to do some better things. I think not only as a fan base in Steve Sports Talk and Atlanta Bird Game, I think I love listening to you all's opinion, whether I agree with you or disagree with you. And I think I try to give a forum where we don't yell, don't scream, don't talk about each other like we have sense and respect each other. But we can still have an honest debate about the direction of our favorite team. And this is our favorite team. And I appreciate the feedback that all of you have given me this year, coming up to the end of the year. And just thank you. And trust me, y'all, we going further next year. I actually have maybe some surprises on the horizon for some things that I might be able to share with the group. So let's see how 2020 works out, and we'll be able to hopefully move in that direction. Brandon said, you renewing, Steve? I am, man. Yeah, I'm renewing. I am. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It's been a while since I haven't. I mean, yeah, I'll be there. That's my team. That's my team. I love football. I am. I'm probably a sucker, but I am. Jalen, man, where you been, bro? Quinn still needs to go. Dude, dude, you should know already. I've been all over that, Jalen. You should know better. Jarvis, what's going on, Jarvis? All y'all coming in late, man. What's going on? Matt and Julio have been on fire. They have. You're right. You're right. Reggie said, I think we dropped to number 12. Y'all talking about the draft. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I don't care. We dropped to number 32. Get the right person. Just because we have the number 1 and number 2 pick is not going to make a difference if it's a person that, one, doesn't fit our scheme. Matter of fact, you know what, y'all? Let's really break it down, but without even going deep into the draft stuff. And I think, we're going to have that opportunity. There was no way we were going to get number 1 or number 2 pick. We weren't going to get lower than Miami. We weren't going to get lower than Cincinnati. And we definitely weren't going to get, and I don't think we would have got lower than New York. So all the names I've been hearing, Chase Young, Joe Burrows, we weren't going to get a chance to get them. And to be brutally honest, we're not going to get a Joe Burrows type. I think we will get a quarterback. I'll almost guarantee you we're going to get somebody that's going to be able to step in and be that second string quarterback, the future of the Falcons. The future does not mean, just because you're the future quarterback doesn't mean you have to come in here and start day one. Matt has too much money on the books. Matt ain't going nowhere. But that doesn't mean you can't go out and pluck you a 3rd round, 4th round pick that still has some talent and a coach that can work with him. It's not. You could do it. A lot of other teams do it. Julie said next year will be better for everything. I hope it will, Julie. Brick, will TD be gone? That's a good question, Brick. I think he will. I'm just giving my opinion. I think you am. Julie said, not a sucker, just a loyal fan. Yeah, thank you, Julie. And I appreciate that. And I know. I just say that. I love my Falcons, man. Rise up. When I get on groups like this, I get on groups like this because I love my Falcons. Does it hurt when we don't do what we're supposed to do? Absolutely. Does it hurt when my quarterback is not doing well? Absolutely. Does it hurt when my coaches aren't doing well? Absolutely. But guess what? A day like today and a day like last week and a day like the week before that, when the Falcons can put some stuff together and win, I'm still a Falcon fan. My heart still races. I still jump up. I still have a little hoarseness in my voice, as y'all see. So that's what I like to celebrate. I like to celebrate with those that I know that I think are going through those same emotions with me. It's hard to go through emotions with the trolls and the naysayers and stuff like that. I can go toe-to-toe with them, but sometimes it's kind of hard to do that because, they don't invest the same energy, time, passion that you do. When I roll past Northside Drive every time going to the game, and I look over on the side and I see no matter what our record are, no matter what's going on, I see them little tents sitting up there on the side and those people still out there ready to talk about and celebrate the Falcons. Got to give them credit. That's deep. That's deep to me. And I respect that. Montoya, what's going on with you? What would be the chances of DQ staying and TD leaves, and would it make a difference? I think they're a package deal, Montoya. I know a lot of people have said otherwise, but I think if you have a new coach, I think you're going to bring a GM in here to choose that coach. I don't see you getting rid of Quinn and TD being on the committee to make that decision again. And the other way around, I don't see them hiring a GM that would want to come in and make changes for this team, yet you recycle the same coach. So from that standpoint, Montoya, my opinion is I think both of them will, and it would make a difference. It would, because your GM has to know. Your GM is in charge of, well, at least this used to be mostly, unless you're Jerry Jones. The owner hires the GM makes the football decisions. That's how it goes in most organizations. And that's how I think it should go in this one. But we'll see. Jeremy says, it's a great point. Look at the Grady versus Vic, same draft, different results. Good point. Good call. Good call. Maurice, exactly. We act like a draft pick will save the franchise. I'm trying to tell y'all. No, you're right. It won't. But I still want a person who can evaluate talent. Right now, that's our biggest thing. Well, the two things. A person who can evaluate the talent and a coach that knows what the GM is going to draft, and he can coach these people up. Think about what Grady did, and piggybacking on what Maurice said. When Grady Jarrett was taken in the, was it fourth or fifth round? I think it was fifth. When he was taken in the fifth round, at that time, Brian Cox was doing the teaching, so I know that was a good start. But they coached Grady up to where he became what he is today, and he was wrecking havoc again today and rewarded finally for a Pro Bowl berth. Think about Devonta when he was first drafted. I'm not talking about the post Super Bowl Devonta, but the Devonta who was here and got drafted and had to wait his turn behind Steven Jackson, had to wait his turn after Tevin Campbell. I got Tevin Campbell on the mind. Can we talk? Let me stop. Tevin Coleman, after Tevin Coleman was drafted after him in the second round and was supposed to be the starter. over Devonta, and Devonta worked hard and became the running back that he eventually became up to the Super Bowl. You can get those picks in the 4th, 5th, 3rd round. You just have to have the right person evaluating, the right person there to make those picks. Every player is not going to be Chase Young. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to listen. I know he's going to be good, but at the same time, we don't know how good. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be a legendary player. Remember Shane Ray when he came out? Can't miss. Shane Ray can't even find a team. Lisa, are you doing a Black Monday broadcast? It would be interesting to discuss what the Falcons do or don't regarding Quinn and Dimitrov. Absolutely, I will be on Black Monday. I will be there. Ricky, how you doing, sir? Good to see you coming in here on us, man. Brandon, we are still waiting on a playoff game at the Benz. Yeah, I know. We probably should have had one 2017. But Ricky, I'm happy brother, I am always happy when we win. Always. 3 in a row. Calvin, go Falcons. Go way to go into next year. Yep. Rick, Steven, are you tired of the culture of losing? Of course I am. No one likes to lose. There's not a franchise out there, y'all. Detroit doesn't like losing. Cincinnati doesn't enjoy this losing streak they're in right now. Contrary to belief, Miami hasn't been trying to tank. Nobody likes to lose. Losing is hard. Have you been watching some of go to AtlantaFalcons.com and look at those folks when they get interviewed now. It's different. They know at the end of the day they're not making the playoffs. They know at the end of the day that they could have done better at the beginning of the year. But it's loose. It's fluid. It makes the fan base feel better. It makes people, I don't know, the interactions are better. The only thing we question about that is why now? What was going on earlier in the season that we still couldn't get that same feeling then? And the answer to that question is I don't know. Steve, do you think there's going to be a change? Yes, I do. Ricky said both of them staying. Even the commentators said it when they were calling the game. I will believe that when I see it. I'll believe that when I see it. And listen, if they do, I'm not putting on a protest. Listen, if Arthur Blank comes out and says, fan base, Atlanta Falcon fan base, Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitrov are absolutely staying next year. I'm not canceling my tickets. I'm gonna be at the game. Am I gonna critique them harder than ever? Absolutely. But if they happen to stay, I'll be here. But it is my strong opinion that you need to bring some new eyes on this franchise. And yes, you don't want the 7th offensive coordinator to come in here for Matt Ryan. I know. But Matt Ryan, we got to squeeze every bit of juice we can out of that orange. Because in a couple of years, I don't even know if he's going to make it to the end of his contract. I seriously doubt it. So right now, even with the dull arm, even with throwing behind players, even with not being able to throw the deep ball as well as Pat Mahomes or whoever is the hottest new quarterback now, we're stuck with him. So we better start squeezing what we can out of that orange while we got him. We have to. Justin, Quinn still needs to go because if our season were reversed and we played well the first half and bad the second, he would be gone for sure. That's an interesting way of looking at it too. And I say the same thing. Justin, I thought he should have been fired at the bye. I think you can't let a 1-7 attitude. And I would say this, and this is not a save your job comment, but I give him credit for at least it would have been super easy to say, well, I know I'm out the door anyway, so let me make some crazy moves and, we win 2 games for the rest of the season. Those guys out there playing like their lives depended on it. And some of those guys are. Those guys who are free agents, those people, those second string people that aren't sure whether they're going to stick with another team, they're playing for their lives. They're playing for their NFL lives. And their resume continues next week against Tampa, where you got Jameis, who is playing for his next contract. Man, Jameis threw a lot of interceptions, man. Dude, who throws 28 interceptions? I mean, we jump on Matt. And Matt has thrown a few too this year. Let me make that clear. I think Matt's thrown about 15 or 16 this year too. But dang, 28? I can't look at your numbers at 5,000 yards and give you credit, or 4,000 yards or whatever he has. I can't give you credit when I see 28 interceptions. You got 30 touchdowns. You got 28 interceptions. That's tough, man. That's tough to swallow. Jameis is in trouble. Jeremy, I really wanted to pair Grady and Brown from Auburn. That would be a good pairing. I don't think Brown is going to be. I think Brown might not make it out of the top 5. He may not. Brandon, they developed Austin Hooper too. That's another one, and we're going to have plenty of time to talk about that too. I mean, Hooper, and when we were talking earlier this week about the future of Austin Hooper and whether we can re-sign him, and under the structure we have right now, there's no way we're not going to be able to pay him what he's probably going to ask for. Hooper is 24. They showed it on the screen today. I said, 24? Because me and my son was sitting there when they flashed it on the screen. I said, nah, that's got to be wrong. 24? And I don't even know that he come out his junior year or whether he was just smart or whatever. But the thing said 24, unless that was the resume before the season and he's turned 25 already. But even if he's 25, dang. And we're probably going to have to let him go. Unless the salary cap goes up $20 million. But that's crazy. Yeah, he came in raw, yeah. Quinn doesn't look defeated in the interviews anymore. Beginning of the season, body language was terrible. Your body language would be terrible too if you were 1-7. Should be. Lynn, it sure feels better walking out of the bins with a win. It's funny you say that, Lynn, because today, obviously, anybody who was there, and thank you, Lord, for covered parking, that little bitty strip where you walk out and you have about maybe a 3-minute walk to get to the covered parking. And the last few times, even if it's been cold, even if it's been just gloomy or whatever. But I'll be quite honest with you. It didn't feel as cold as it did today when you go out with a win. It doesn't feel as wet when you come out with a win. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't warm. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it wasn't cold rain. I'm not saying the wind wasn't blowing. But to your point, Lynn, it just feels better. That's the feeling I think every fan wants to get. When we have that win, it puts a smile on your face. Yeah, you can stick it to your comrades. You can talk junk about your team for a couple of days. Absolutely. It does all of that for you. That's a good feeling. And some people get inspiration from other things or get a happy feeling from others. You know what? A Falcons win gives me a smile for 7 days until the next time. Kevin again said, tanking is a social media culture. No one who ever played the game sets out to lose. And really, you know, when people were talking about that earlier this year, I always likened it to a losing mentality. Who would purposely try to lose games? Because to me, that's what tanking means. And I know the tanking probably from an NBA standpoint is a little bit different, where as an NBA team will say, okay, I'm trying to get rid of these contracts right now. So my team that I'm playing is going to be youthful and inexperienced, and I'm going to have to throw them out there. That's about the closest I can say that teams can be to tanking. Even in a baseball team, you think about the Atlanta Braves back in the mid 2000s when the baby Braves came along. And I think when they did a little bit of turnover with the baby Braves, they weren't expecting that team to win. But sometimes in baseball, you can get fooled because those young guys come out there and put up a better effort than the veterans. So from that standpoint, I don't even think in baseball you don't have that. Said, go ahead, get them Atlanta United jerseys too, joints too. Absolutely. Yep, you're right. Lisa, right. No one likes to lose. As sports fans, we have a natural competitive nature. We're not trying to live like that. We want our team to match the swag of our city. We want to win. That, well said. Robin, I just hope I'm alive when they make the playoffs. Listen, making the playoffs in the NFL, while not easy, we're not that far from the playoffs, y'all. And as y'all see from the last 6 games, it's a little change of philosophy here and there. That's my biggest gripe with Dan Quinn, is that, yeah, you know how to make the right decisions, but when you execute, when do you execute the changes? That's your job. It's your job as the top dog to know when the sink is failing. When do I start fixing the hole? Do I wait until the boat has submerged 80%? Or do I start chipping away at it early so it gets patched up a little bit and we still got some life? What happened with this situation is the boat's already submerged now. The only thing you can see is the little periscope coming out of the boat. We should have been making those changes back in September and October. That's disappointing, man. That's disappointing. As a coach, you got to know better. You got to. Robin, is Matt married to Arthur Blank's daughter? No. That young lady played volleyball at Boston College. That's not his daughter. Tim, we really need the coaching staff to be on the same page. But if we keep switching coaches, we'll never get it right. And I hear that. And there's a lot to say about that because you want the continuity. I get that. That's not unreasonable. Matter of fact, Tim, that's the same thought. You're absolutely right. But I also say this, Tim. If you sound like you're intelligent when you come on here, you sound like an intelligent guy. 2006, 2018, this is a very similar pattern to what we did in 2018. You start a little rough, go through some downtime, and then all of a sudden come back at the end and, he's coached them up. And I'm pretty sure Arthur gave him a ultimatum and say, you fix this stuff up, man, or you might not be here next year. So you make all these decisions and the decisions don't work. And now here we go again. Save our coach. And I think the players like him. I don't think there's a doubt that the players like him. But you know what? Arthur Blank's job is not to make the players that comfortable, especially if you're losing. Now, if you're giving me 12-4, 13-3 every year, yeah, I might accommodate that. But I cannot accommodate the results of 2 years in a row of no start, finish strong at the end. And I say finish strong. Finishing strong is not going under 500. But I'm saying finishing like you should have started. To me, that's internal. To me, that's coaching. Love Dan Quinn as a guy, as a dude. Listening to him, listening to how, he pumps folks up. Again, sounds like a great college coach or somebody like that. But in this franchise right now, with all due respect to what you just said, Tim, I cannot have him come back here and do this again. Yes, there are going to be some changes. Yes, we might have to get to know somebody again and reestablish another relationship. But I don't know how many years you want this to happen. I think when you see the same thing happen 2 years in a row, I think you would be almost foolish not to try to stop it before it happens one more time. And again, there's no guarantee it'll be 7-9. We still got to go down to Tampa. Hey, let crab legs keep throwing picks. Yeah. Now look, if you want to put the over/under on him throwing 2 picks next week, I guarantee you that's gonna happen. Somebody gonna get the ball next week. Lisa, I think I read the salary cap went up $12 million. Let me check to confirm. And see, that's the other thing too, Lisa, because I know some of these TV contracts are getting ready to kick in for next year. So I know the salary cap will jump up. But think about that, though. If Lisa is right, that $12 million spot, what do you do? Do you use that on Hooper? Because that's basically what it's going to cost. It's going to cost most of that 12. Ricky, but we know what the NFL stands for, not for long. And that goes for coaches too. Tidy, who may even command $12 million a year in the open market because he is so talented and so young? Sadly, will we lose him in all likelihood? Very good point, because again, and Tidy, I don't know if you came back in. I saw that on the screen and he was 24. Dude, 24. And we're going to have to let him go. We are. There's no way we'll be able to keep him with the holes that we have to fill on this team. We still got to find another linebacker. Do we re-sign Campbell? I don't know if Campbell's definitely not going to be in the $10 to $15 million a year category. But do you promote him for what he's been doing this year? You can't say he hasn't done well. 118 tackles. That's nothing to sneeze at. But you got to use that money for something. Yeah, I think Hooper is pretty much a done deal. And I would love for Hooper to stay. But you think Hooper going, and I don't even know who his agent is, but you think Hooper's going to come back here for less than $8 million a year? And that's stretching. Ricky, I've told Falcon fans that DQ is not going anywhere with the way we're winning. It was a wrap when we beat the Stanks and the 49ers. And tanking is the most foolish thing to think, because no draft pick is guaranteed. I should take your comment and probably put it on a post. I say, folks, that all the time. At least it's only an $8 million salary cap increase, not 12. Okay, so, and thank you for the info. And again, so if that's the case, there's no way we'll be able to sign who unless you cut fat all around. And if you start cutting fat with some of the players under contract, you talk about some dead cap space hits coming up. Basketball. Thank you, Lisa. I apologize. Basketball. Sorry about that. I thought it was volleyball. Corey, I honestly don't want to take another chance with DQ next season. We did the same stuff last year. I don't know how anybody could take it as being personal. If we are playing Groundhog Day. Bill Murray is waking up listening to I Got You, Babe again. Arthur Blank is waking up and hearing Dan Quinn, I got you, Arthur. I got you, Arthur. And the last couple of years, we've been coming up short. And listen, I know it's 2 years, and I know it's the NFL, and I know the continuity would change and whatever, but we can't play right now. You have 2 guys on your team who have absolutely showed up the last couple of weeks that are taking up over $50 million of your salary cap. $50 million. So that's almost a third. Not even almost a third. That's over a third of your salary cap. Neither one of them is getting any younger. So that means you have to find value pieces. And you can't go into Walmart. You got to go to Dollar Tree and get you a couple of pieces that can fit on this team. Go in there and get some tape, put it around them, and make them look like you got it from Walmart. But when you know good and well you got it from Dollar Tree, that's what we're going to be doing. It's going to be a Dollar Tree off season for the Falcons. Unless they make some surprising moves that we don't know about. And if we get new blood in here, it might be surprising. Brick, I believe the ship sank for Quinn when he got his friend Sark hired instead of promoting LaFleur to run the Shanahan playbook. The thing with Sark, and also remember, the offense improved last year. From the first year Sark was here to the second year, it did improve. So I know a lot of people were down on him because they were used to what Kyle had pumped out the year before. But, I don't want to beat down the Sark thing because, hey, Sark was never going to live up to the Shanahan model. So I'll give him a little bit of a pass. Ricky said Chambers throwing picks next week. That's an easy bet. Tim, what I mean by coaching, I don't mean with Quinn. I think we should move on. We should have the ability to be a solid team. But you're right. We need something to happen. And that's my only thing. Listen, I respect everything you laid out. And you're right, too. You're not – you can't keep switching coaches, even if it's the same quarterback or the same players on the same team, because each coach is going to come with a different cadence, with a different count, with a different way of doing things. And whether all of them coach the West Coast offense, all of them are going to do things in their own way. So yeah, I think we're probably on the same page more than it sounds like. But we got to do something. That's my only thing. We got to do something. Ricky, who will get paid? Probably not by us, though. Maurice, I think it's coaching and the heart. The players and media began to claim the team is playing for DQ. But if that's the case, who the heck were they playing for when we were 1-7? That's the big question, Brother Maurice. That's the big question. Brandon, sad to see Hoop go. Ricky and Neil won't be here next year either. I still tend to think now, if it's a new regime, I don't think Neil stands a chance. I think if Quinn comes in here, I think he may keep him just 1 year just to see. Brandon Campbell's looks suspect to me. I don't know. Listen, I'm not saying he's the best the best linebacker we have. Not by far. But the majority of the time he puts hands on people, they go down. The majority. Has he missed some tackles? Absolutely. Has he not checked tight ends out on the flat, which is supposed to be his deal? He hasn't. But he's come a long way from the first year he was here. That's all. I'm not saying he's all world. I think he's that solid linebacker that you have in there that can kind of be a jack of all trades. He doesn't come close to sniffing Deion's talent, but yeah, I think he's worth maybe keeping around for maybe $4 million a year, $5 million a year if no one gives him a better contract. I see all talking to each other. I don't want to interrupt that. Ricky, the window is closing on Matt and Julio. It is. It is. Why they released Grace is beyond me. That kid has some flair. Could have replaced Campbell. We cannot sign anybody significant for at least one season. Brick, that was actually a very confusing move to me as well. Sometimes, we might not know things on the back end of situations. And then sometimes they have to cut people to make room for other folks. I mean, we cut people back and forth this year on the teams. I cannot answer the question of why they did release him, but that is a head scratcher there too, because Grace definitely seemed like he showed some signs of being able to be maybe a next level, not next level, but be a, solid little player. Ricky, that's the reason why DQ and Dimitrov are high on obtaining draft picks, because we didn't have the cap for free agents. Keeping DQ, and matter of fact, because you think about people like Kaminsky and Sanat, people that they've drafted and kind of stashed away with the hope that they would develop into something more than they have. We'll see. Kaminsky, I'm going to give him a pass because I know he's been hurt, and this is rookie year. Corey, keeping DQ is like having a cheating partner and they say, I won't cheat again, then turn around and does it again. Trust me, he is gone and you have to walk away instead of risking it again. That's another way of looking at it, but I get the analogy. What do you think we do with Freeman's contract? I need to see what his hit would be. This is the, fourth year of that contract? Because you got it the Super Bowl year. So it'd be 17, 18, 19. So third year, I'm assuming it was 5 years. I need to see what the dead hit is. If the dead hit is where you can take him with a minimal salary cap hit, I do it immediately. I do it before February, if possible. If you can. If we didn't have any salary cap implications, I would get rid of him as well. And not to say you don't thank him for what he did for us in 2016. Thank you. But you got to move on for free. You got some young guys out there that you can pick. Running backs are going to be available in this draft all the way through the 4th, 5th round. They always are. You get the right O-line, you can make a 4th round person a star. See Devonta. And the free agents, Ricky says that we got for the O-line a bust. Carpenter and Brown haven't strung together consecutive games since the beginning of the season. I don't think their contracts are all guaranteed either, so I don't even think that's going to be a big deal. But Campbell is consistent. I think that's what I like about him too, Ricky. Tidy, $6 million cap here. Woo. Ugh. Yeah, if you had said something like 2 or 3 million, I think I might be. That's okay, yeah, because after the June 1st cut, does it count towards next year? I think that's what that is, right? If we make that, then that wouldn't be a full $6 million hit for this season. We could push that into next season, right? I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. But I think Freeman's situation is one you have to look at. I think Trufant's is a situation that you have to look at. If you can bring another cornerback in here and the growth of Isaiah and Kendall continue to progress as it has, you would be crazy not to try to look at letting True go. He's making a lot of money. It's nobody's fault. Yeah, Allison and Hill are studs, Ricky says. Hill, when we first brought him in, I think his thought that he was going to kind of be that, kind of challenge for the second guy. But, we had Freeman and True together. Not Freeman and True. Freeman and Tevin together. So I think Hill became expendable at that point. Now, I know we cut him and we re-signed him. But he's done some good work for us this year. Lisa, who wanted free earlier this year? That was Detroit that wanted him, ma'am. I like how Allison looks when he does get playing time. See, it's still kind of baffling to me that we don't give him the ball enough. I think, Dirk is in love with the shifty runner, which he should. But it would be nice to get that grind him out running back as well. We need that. Hill has shown flashes of being a good back. He has. Darius, if you release Free, then it's a must you find his replacement in the draft. I want J.K. Dobbins or Jonathan Taylor. Hill and Allison ain't it. Jonathan Taylor, I don't think you're going to get. He's going to be gone too high. And you say Allison ain't it. Allison hasn't had chances yet. I think Allison has had maybe 9 carries all season. Can't judge a man on 9 carries. But yeah, Jonathan Taylor would be nice. He's doing great things up there in Wisconsin. But I think he'll be gone by the Falcons. Falcons shouldn't be going for any offensive player until at least 3rd and 4th round. So we're not going to get a running back that high. Tidy says True dead cap is 10 million. He will be in 11 in 2020. Yeah, hey, you can bet your bottom dollar he'll be here in 2020. But I was hoping you were saying you'd see. And you know what? Maybe we do need one veteran still back there. But I am so impressed, folks, because usually when I watch the game, I'm usually watching the offensive line and defensive line. But you know what I watched a lot of today? I watched the cornerback play. And when you start looking, when the exception of the garbage time near the end of the game, and it shouldn't make a difference, they should be playing up anyway. But they did kind of go into that little quasi zone again because that's when wide receivers were getting balls. But they play a really solid defense. And you know what? I don't get mad at them when I see the receiver make a play, yet the cornerback is either in their face or right there to make a tackle. Now, that we have to work on a little bit, missing a few tackles. But I like at least that my cornerbacks are up in the receiver's face. I did not see that with True over the last year or two. There was 1 or 2 years, and the year before we went to the Super Bowl, and I know he was hurt half of the Super Bowl year, but I never saw True in those folks' faces since he's got this contract. A lot of times I see people running past True prior to this year. Now, True is, if you really break it down, True has had an okay year this year. He actually had a couple of games where he was really good. But as a whole, for the money I'm paying you, I got to have more. I think that's fair. Fair to ask. Brick says, Allen or KZ at the free safety spot. Who would you start 2020? You got to go with KZ, man. You got to. I know Allen has been known to be the quarterback. The guru on the defense, quarterback type of person. Yeah, KZ's more of a free safety back there, man. Ball hawk and all. I like KZ. 2 dogs are coming. 2 are coming out from the dogs. Rick said both are studs. Hey, we'll take a chance. Tidy, I think True has played well this season. However, his injuries are becoming a concern. And it's always interesting that all the injuries come after that wet ink get on the paper. Isn't that always funny how that happens? Reggie said, I watched a lot of the offense and defensive line play in the games too. And there's something about watching. I love to see the battle. So when I listen to people talk about how good certain players are and how bad, when you start looking in the trench, you see where the game is won and lost. You see who's pushing back on who. Now today, during the first half, the offensive line was really doing a great job. Now, during the second half, I think Jacksonville changed a little bit. They started stunting a couple of times, and they got that pressure in a little bit more on Matt. If you noticed, especially in the third quarter, they were bringing the pressure up the middle instead of coming around. Because I think what was happening was Matt was stepping up on them and making a couple of throws. So that was a good philosophy. I love watching line play. But today, I was definitely paying more attention to the cornerbacks. And I feel good about our future there. I really do. Darius, other than the Houston game, True has been pretty solid this year. Yeah. Lisa said we're in the salary cap abyss. Ricky, we have a solid defense. That's the problem, Ricky. Where was this defense prior to the bye? Same defense. Brick says True is a fraud. You know what, Brick? I'm going to lighten it up, but you're not 100% wrong. True is inconsistent. He's very inconsistent. He'll have a 3-game run where he will look like the person we were supposed to draft and look like the person who we should have given that contract to. But then there are some days when I see him 10 yards behind Ted Ginn Jr., that makes me want to rip off that 21 and how dare you wear the same number that my boy did and still be here in this city. Corey, you have to draft defense this year. We straight with offensive weapons, work on that offensive line and defense. I think we have some nice backs that can get the job done and give them more playing time. I still don't close the book on offensive line. I wouldn't mind having another guard or draft for your future with your center. Got to start looking at that. Mac not going to be around forever. Ricky, they need time together under the same coaching staff. That way they can learn what is expected of them. The O lineman. Yeah, the O lineman, I'm gonna be fine with McGarry and Lindstrom. I've seen enough samples in the last couple of days to say, oh yeah, I see where that's trending. And then not only now, next year, after those guys, now that they've been battle tested and have a year to hone their game, I think they're going to come out much better next year. Quarterbacks are Quinn's guys, so is Campbell. Yeah. Ricky says, and the New Orleans Skanks secondary is garbage. They can't play from behind. And if you make the Skanks one-dimensional, they can be beat often. Yeah, that's true. I think when you start talking about the future for this team, I still am looking to improve both trenches. How bad is it that Grady Jarrett is single-handedly just wrecking havoc on folks, and he does not have his dance partner in there with him? And when I say who, I mean, I think that was tailor-made for Sanat to be there. So I don't know what the deal is with him, whether it's just too many injuries or whatever, but he's inactive basically most of the season. And I think if you draft somebody in the third round, I'm expecting you to be on the field. I'm expecting you to be on the field. I think it's an easy ask. Ricky said they're going to be beasts next year, McGarry and Lindstrom. I truly think that. Now that they know what they're supposed to do, they got one more week. And after that, start figuring out what you're going to do going into 2020 and start working on it. Make the plan out before next week is over. What are we going to do to make this team great? Fair question. We'll update one more time before y'all get a chance to came in. Hey, Rusty, what's going on, man? Hey, Rusty, I ain't even heard from you, buddy. I feel like I'll join your broadcast late every week, so I'm not sure what you guys talking about, but these late season victories, what is Dan Quinn's future looking like? Not sure if you guys talked about it yet or not, but I would like to get your input. I still think we need to change, but I can see these wins instilling false hope in AB thoughts. Yeah, you and I have talked plenty of times, so you know I'm on the vibe that you are with this. And yes, we talked about it a lot earlier. I think the majority, I think it's starting to get split though, Rusty. Think about, Rusty, when we were talking at the bye. And if we took a poll of 9 out of 10 people, 9 of them were ready to help Dan Quinn pack during the bye week. But now that we have a taste of winning, and we're kind of like players in a certain sense, where they're saying the players are playing for him because now we're winning and now we're back into that groove. Some fans are the same way. Some fans are like, well, he tried his best. Go ahead and give him one more chance. Unfortunately, we read that book last year. And when we read that book last year, the caveat should have been, yeah, you had this happen, but at the very last line, but if you don't win next year, you are gone. And who knows? AB still may have already informed him of his fate. I don't know. But in my opinion, I still think you need another voice at the top. I know it's going to be difficult for those who are still here. I know it's going to be difficult for those who will run through a wall for Dan Quinn, and I think he got a couple of people like that. When you start talking about the players that the only coach that Grady knows, the only coach that Hoop knows, when he's gone, he's gone. So I think me and you are talking the same language, bro. Tim, I feel like ever since the line has been playing better, so has Freeman. I really think he still has potential. It is really weird, kid Tim. I've been getting on him so much about juking before you run through the hole. He did a better job of it initially. Initially in the game, he was hitting the holes, and that's why we were able to have some success with the running game, including his 19-yard touchdown today. But then in the second half, he started doing that same stuff again, where he sits back and thinks he can fake out everybody, and he's faster than everybody. But I think he realized on a couple of those 6-yard losses that I need to hit the hole. Because if I hit the hole with the strength I have, I should easily be able to fall and get 2 yards. But when you're sitting out there on the outside and you run out there and you're trying to do shake and bait, wasting 2 seconds so another defender can come up. That's the only thing about Freeman. I like him, but I don't know. I think it's souring me because we are paying him so much money. We paid him so much money. Do I give him credit for games like today? Absolutely. But I can't ignore the other games that he's played this year where he has absolutely not shown up, basically been a ghost. And I know he's hurt again, and he's kind of injury prone, which is a whole nother deal. Let's see. Reggie got to come out and get motivated. Got to come out motivated in 2020. Well, that was the signal this year. And I went out to Flowery Branch where they had the little state of the team thing that they had out there, and Dimitrov and Quinn were taking questions from Dave Archer. And he was basically saying the same thing. I'm going to get the guys motivated early. We're going to do this. And then, same result. Same exact result. Ricky said, but we need a coach that is going to build a dynasty, not a short-term fix for this football club. All right, it's true. I'm with you about Ollison. It's amazing that even at 1-7, the season is a wash. He gets no playing time. Scratch my head. I never understood that, Brick. I never got it. Ricky, and the entire scheme needs to be changed if we're going to do it, and it needs to be disciplined. And maybe that's the word that we were missing early in the year. Because if you think about it, Ricky, think about all the penalties we kept getting earlier in the year. Dave calmed down a little bit, even though today might not have counted because I know we had quite a few at critical times. I knew Jacksonville was going to be a little undisciplined on a few of those plays. The guy, I think he's 97, Spence, he jumped offsides 2 times on the same drive, basically giving the Falcons the chance to score first. And I saw him. They pulled him off the field the first time that happened. And he's a starter. And you know they need him. Rick said, I hate that about free. Too much cutbacks and not enough north-south running. I've been, you know what it is, Ricky, where he thinks he has license because he's done it a couple of times and it worked. And I just don't want to see the spin move anymore. I want to see you run straight through the hole. And the couple of times today that he ran straight out of a cannon and not looking for somebody to fake out, he scores a touchdown. Ricky also said the penalties are ridiculous. I agree. I feel like West has almost 90% of our penalties. Dude, in that one series, I'm like, how are you going to get your name called twice? And I haven't even blinked my eyes. Ridiculous to me, but I don't know. Just really weird. Really weird. Like the rookies that the rookies did today. You're absolutely right. That makes sense to me. So listen, hey, we winding down. I said I was going to get off at 8:30. As I say all the time, thank you all for coming in. Oh, wait a minute. I got one more. Corey said, what do you think about Koo? Should we ride with him next season and let him go? I say we keep him and coach him up some more. Only thing I say is you keep him, but you still bring somebody in to challenge him. Players love Quinn because he will help you get paid, as True, Beasley, Allen offer, all mediocre players. Hey, man, it's a business at the end of the day. It is. It is definitely. Beasley is trying to work on that next contract. That's what he's doing. Listen, y'all said it's about past 8:30. Y'all have a great day, man. Rise up, rise up, rise up. We did it again. Let's finish off the Buccaneers. Well, y'all realize that we beat the Buccaneers. Y'all realize that this thing can be 7-9 again. And that's crazy. Hey, man, Rick, appreciate that, man. Thank y'all, man. Dude, I love this forum. Y'all keep everything coming. I will be on tomorrow for the aftermath. We're going to talk a little bit more. Have a little fun, too, with 2 days away from Christmas. So y'all be ready to answer a couple of some of your favorite Christmas things we're going to talk about tomorrow when we get on here. But until then, man, another great win for the Falcons, 24-12. We'll take it, man. I understand it's late, but 3 in a row, man, you can't sneeze at it, man. It is what it is. Y'all have a great day. Rise up, rise up, rise up. I'll catch y'all tomorrow, man. Be careful out there doing that last-minute Christmas shopping, man. This traffic is crazy down here. Y'all be good. Peace.